Ptolemy XV, also called Caesarion, was the son of Cleopatra and presumably Caesar. Born in 47 BC, he became the symbol of the union of Egyptian and Roman power. Despite Cleopatra's efforts to establish Caesar's son as the rightful successor, after her death he was seen as a threat by Octavian, which is why Cleopatra wanted to send him to India via Ethiopia with treasures and his teacher Rhodon shortly before her death. But Rhodon persuaded him to turn back because Octavian supposedly wanted to make him king. A betrayal, because in the end, Caesarion was executed on Octavian's orders. Cleopatra was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, which dated back to the times of Alexander the Great. She is described as an intelligent and charismatic queen who was known for her political skills and quest for power. Julius Caesar was a Roman statesman, general, and dictator who was the most dominant and powerful figure in world politics at that time. He and Cleopatra first met in Alexandria in 48 BC, after Caesar had defeated Pompey, his rival in the Roman Civil War. Cleopatra sought Caesar's support in the internal power struggle against her brother and co-regent Ptolemy VIII. Legend has it that she hid in a carpet in order to get to Caesar unnoticed and win his favor. With success, Caesar eventually supported Cleopatra in the Alexandrian War against her brother. After his defeat and death, he drowned in the Nile while fleeing from Roman troops. She became sole queen of Egypt. In return, Caesar was able to strengthen his power in Rome and improve his financial position through Egypt's rich resources. Cleopatra and Caesar's relationship produced a son, Ptolemy XV, better known as Caesarion. Caesar officially recognized Caesarion as his son, cementing Caesar's connection to Cleopatra and Egypt. However, Caesar did not appoint Caesarion as his heir, but instead made his great-nephew Gaius Octavius, the future Emperor Augustus, usually referred to as Octavian before his elevation, his adopted son and heir. He did not marry Cleopatra either, as he was already married to the Roman woman Calpurnia and did not want to further damage his reputation in Roman society. In June 46 BC, Cleopatra traveled to Rome with a large entourage and probably also with Caesarion. Officially, her state visit was intended to serve the purpose of signing an alliance between Egypt and Rome. However, Cleopatra probably hoped that her presence would give her more influence over Caesar, who might also have wanted to have his lover close by. Cleopatra's influence led to several initiatives, such as the introduction of the Julian calendar and the plan to build large public libraries in Rome. Due to Cleopatra's influence, Caesar increasingly sought sole rule. The Romans feared that he wanted to establish a kingdom based on the Hellenistic model and found a new dynasty with Cleopatra. It was probably these concerns that led to his assassination on the Ides of March 44 BC. We know from Cicero's letters that Cleopatra was also in Rome during Caesar's assassination. However, Cleopatra was not mentioned in Caesar's will and feared for her life due to the hostility of the senators. So she fled Rome with her companions and Caesarion and returned to Egypt. But was Caesar really Caesarion's father, or was it someone else, since there were no paternity tests at the time?
Caesar, you are not the father.
We will probably never be able to answer this question 100%, but there is a lot of evidence that suggests that Caesar was actually the father. It was Octavian in particular who tried to portray Caesar's paternity as implausible as part of his propaganda in the power struggle against Marcus Antonius for sole rule of the Roman Empire. This was important for Octavian because he was only an adopted son of Caesar, but the loyalty of many of his followers was based on this. One thing is certain, however, Caesar's sexual desires were extreme. Roman historians claimed that he compulsively pursued the women of the Roman upper class. In addition to Cleopatra, his lovers included another queen, Eunoe, the wife of the Moor Boguds. Little is known about Caesar's sexual activities in Spain, Gaul, or other places, but it is likely that he indulged his urges everywhere. Caesar certainly also took liberties with slaves and conquered women. Children from such relationships had no rights and only received the privileges that Caesar granted them. A curious footnote in Roman history is Julius Sabinus, a rebellious Roman officer from the Gallic tribe of the Lingones, who claimed that his great-grandmother had been one of Caesar's mistresses and that he was descended from Caesar. Although Sabinus was executed, his sons survived. Who knows how many of Caesar's descendants are still alive in Europe and the world today? Most ancient sources, including the Roman historian Cassius Dio and the Greek biographer Plutarch, agree that Caesarion was captured and executed. But why did Octavian have an interest in eliminating Caesarion? Octavian perhaps considered allowing Caesarion to succeed his mother and make him ruler of Egypt, even though it was now a smaller and weaker kingdom. But in the end, he still decided to execute him, probably on the advice of his companion Arrius Didymus, who said, "It is not good to have too many Caesars." Caesarion's existence could have raised doubts about the legitimacy of Octavian's rule. It was common practice in the Roman Empire to eliminate potential rivals and threats to power in order to ensure political stability. Caesarion, as a possible claimant to the throne, could have found supporters and a power base that could pose a threat to Octavian. Caesarion was also the last survivor of the Ptolemaic dynasty in Egypt. Through his death, Octavian was able to end the Egyptian monarchy and fully integrate Egypt into the empire as a Roman province. Rhodon was a teacher and mentor to Caesarion and played a crucial role in Caesarion's final days. After the defeat of Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium and the subsequent fall of Alexandria, Cleopatra attempted to protect Caesarion by sending him on a flight to the east, possibly to India or Nubia, to get him out of reach of Octavian. Rhodon accompanied Caesarion on this escape. He was to act as his protector and advisor, ensuring that Caesarion reached his destination safely. Instead of helping Caesarion, Rhodon betrayed him to Octavian. Rhodon convinced Caesarion to return by assuring him that Octavian would not harm him and that he would be safe. There are varying accounts of Rhodon's motives, but it is generally believed that he acted either out of fear of Octavian or out of self-interest. Due to the betrayal, Caesarion returned and was soon captured and killed by Octavian. This removed a potential threat to Octavian's power and cemented his control over the Roman Empire and Egypt. The fate of Caesarion, the son of Julius Caesar and Cleopatra, remains a tragic episode in history. The killing of the young heir by Octavian illustrates the brutal political realities of ancient Rome. But while most historians agree that Caesarion was executed on Octavian's orders, there are still voices who wonder, could he have survived after all? Unfortunately, we will never know the final truth about the fate of the young Caesar, but who knows, maybe there was a happy ending. If you liked this video, I look forward to your subscription. Stay tuned for more fascinating stories from human history.